Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to do a long-term review of the Motorola G Pure. And this is a phone that's been out for about 8 months now. It's got some things that I really like about it, but in this video, we're going to be covering a bunch of things. We're going to start out with the overall build quality. Then we're going to jump into some of the features that this thing has to offer. And then we're going to jump into, the overall performance, battery life, display, and things of that nature. So we're going to touch on all of those topics. But if you're brand new to the channel, I truly appreciate you for coming through if you're brand new to the crew. But if you're already a part of the crew, salute. So let's just jump into the build quality of this device. Now, it's got a really nice frame to it. It's a textured material, so it does have some texture to it. It's going to be a all plastic design with IP52, which means it's dust and water repellent, which is pretty cool because if you spill like some coffee on here or some water, maybe you're just eating breakfast, you might spill some milk on here, right? It's going to be really solid because you don't have to worry about getting that wet because it's definitely going to hold up to different waters, liquids, and even some dust, okay? So I really like that part about it. Now, we are getting this device at a 6.5 inch display, right? And it's going to be a really nice handheld phone. And one of the things I must mention is the price, because I was in Walmart the other day and I seen this thing on the shelf in the Straight Talk section for $59 or $69.99, which is real crazy. So if you are looking for a phone that you can get a whole lot out of for under $100, I think this is going to be one of the main phones that you should probably check out, especially if you just want to walk into a store, walk out, grab it, pick it up. And I'll leave the cheapest link down below if you want to get it unlocked through Amazon. I'll leave the cheapest link down below, but overall it's a really solid display at 6.5 inches, LCD IPS HD plus display with a 20:9 aspect ratio, so it's going to be extremely comfortable to hold in one hand. It's got a really thin design to it, so there's nothing too bulky about it. You can see the cameras do pop out on the left hand top corner. They're actually placed, and we do get a double camera setup, which we're going to get into later in the video. So I'm definitely going to cover the cameras because they are pretty decent for what you're getting, and they will hold up well. And we're going to test those out in some low lit situations as well as some vibrant situations as well. So one of the things I really like about it is the display. That's like really a good thing about this device because it's giving you a really good viewing experience. Even in different angles, when you put it in light, it's going to be pretty solid. Now, it does have 270 pixels per inch. It's got a 6.5 inch display. It's got 720 by 1600 as far as the resolution. So honestly, it's going to be pretty cool. We even get a headphone jack above top, as well as dual microphones, one on the bottom, one at the top, Type-C for charging. And we do get a SIM card slot for expanding your storage on here. So overall, the button on the right is going to be really solid because it's textured. So if you look at the button on the right, it's actually textured, so you can differentiate it from the volume rocker. And I really like this device when I'm using it just overall. So the build quality is really solid. It will hold up. It might get scratched on the back if you don't put a case on here, but that only happened because I put this thing on my bike holder, and then it was just bouncing back and up and down, and so eventually it did kind of slice through the material on the back of there, but that was like a rare situation. I don't think the back of this will scratch unless you treat it rough, but if you treat it nice, you won't really have any issues with overall deterioration of this build material. So it's been really solid as far as the overall durability. It's been really solid. This plastic material will dent, it will scratch, but it won't crack or break, which is one of the things that I like about plastic phones when you compare it to like a glass material, right? So really good build quality. We also get a fingerprint sensor on the around back, which is definitely pretty quick. You could even scroll down with the notification with your fingerprint sensor, and you can control that with the fingerprint sensor. So that's something that I really do like on here, okay? So besides that, for as far as the build quality, we do get some pretty decent speakers, and we're going to get some really good microphone quality when it comes to the dual mics. So phone calls will be pretty cool as well. So let's just jump into some of the features with this device, and then we'll jump into the cameras, the battery, and the performance, okay? So as far as the overall features, this is going to be packed with a ton of features like Wi-Fi calling, screen recorder. You're going to get hotspot on here. You're going to get night light on here. You're going to get battery saver, screencast, GIF maker, and you also do get the audio effects, which is pretty cool because you can actually balance out the sound quality to match your personal liking, and that gives you the ability to choose between the equalizer options, which also give you flat, vocalizer, brilliant treble, balance, bass punch, and extreme bass. And the balanced one is the V-shaped one. So you can see right here, you could choose between a number of different options when you're listening to the Bluetooth headphones on here. So really good when it comes to the audio quality with this budget device. Really solid options in that department. So other features that I do like are the chop to the flashlight, the double click to the camera. Another thing that I really like about this device when it comes to the features is the flip to the D&D, which is going to be pretty crazy. So you can put it on do not disturb mode without touching anything. You just put it flat on the surface. You also do get lift to wake with the facial ID on here, so that works really quickly. The face ID, when you lift it up to your face, it will unlock every single time. That's one thing I like about this device. We also do get a little V drop right at the top with a little slight chin on here, so the forehead is going to be a little bit slimmer than the chin will be. So just want to throw that out there. And as far as the features, you will be able to use gestures as well as 3 touch buttons, which is something that's a lot of people still like to use, is those 3 touch buttons. But you know what I'm saying? So I really like this device when it comes to the overall things that it has to offer. But one of the main features that I like about this device is the Motorola notifications, because when the screen is locked, you can kind of toggle through the notification menu, and you're basically going to be able to see all your notifications without unlocking the screen, which is one of my favorite features about Motorola phones, is that they offer that. They do offer FM radio on here if you want to plug in some headphones to listen to the radio. They have the game mode right here where you can actually lock the screen so you can't move it when you're gaming. Silence phone calls, silence notifications, and more. You could also set it at 60 Hertz frame rate, and it'll be stuck on that frame rate when you're playing games like PUBG. So PUBG did run pretty cool, but we're going to jump into that in just a second because I'm still talking about some of the features that I like on here. You get split screen mode, screenshot mode, you get dark mode on here to make it so that you can save a little bit more battery, but mostly what that does is just help your eyes when you're looking at it. It's not going to be as bright on your eyes. A lot of people do prefer the dark mode, but as far as some of the software, that's baked right in, we do get stock Android on here, which is something that's pretty cool. And I did recently just check for an update, and I got the May 2022 update on here. So it's pretty much up to date right now with the May 1st Android 11 update on this thing. So it's getting plenty of updates when it comes to a budget phone, because it's still like 8 months in and I'm still up to date with the latest software. So after 8 months in, I still can recommend it based on the software. But just keep in mind, this device will probably get up to 2 years more security software updates. I'm not sure if it's going to get Android 12 yet, but my guess is it probably won't get Android 12, so I just want to throw that out there. But this thing has some really cool widgets, like the weather widget, which lets you you could touch down on it and you can get to your Google, you can get to your weather, or you could get to your it's like a moving widget, which is something that I really do like on there. Really solid for like just a feature that you want to use when you're using the widgets and stuff like that. This thing also does have customizable styles, so you could change the icons, you could change the backdrop colors, and you can change the font. Really cool customization on this thing as well. So now that we jumped into some of the features and some of the build quality, right, let's just jump into, the next thing I want to talk about is the overall cameras on here, okay? So this thing does have some really decent cameras. It's got a 13 megapixel main camera as well as a, 2 megapixel portrait camera, and on the front it's going to have a 5 megapixel for the bokeh shots, okay? And it's going to be running at 1080 30 frames per second when it comes to the overall shots that you're going to be taking with this thing. Bluetooth 5.0 for the audio is going to be really crazy, but basically this thing will pretty much not stand out too much, but it will stand out when you compare it to the competitors in the same price point. It's definitely going to stand out as far as the cameras when you compare it to other phones in that same price point. Even if you pay for the unlock model, it's going to be pretty decent as well, because it did it did actually outshine some of the other phones that I was comparing it to with the same amount of money that I was spending. So the cameras are definitely going to be pretty decent. Even the video is going to be pretty decent, but it's not going to have stabilization, and the colors will be very accurate and things of that nature. So you will be able to take really good portrait shots in high light situations, like where the lighting is really ideal. Performance wise, this thing is going to have a pretty decent processing chip. It's going to have the G25 MediaTek processing chip, the MediaTek Helio G25 processing chip, coupled with 12 nanometer processing speeds, 2 gigahertz for the frequency, and the IMG VR GE8320 as far as the graphics. 3 gigabytes of RAM is going to also be on board for your memory, and the optimization, because it's optimized so well, you won't really have to worry about much lag unless you're jumping into the camera, because when I jumped into the camera, that's when I noticed most of the lag was happening. But 32 gigabytes of internal storage on board as well, so it's going to be pretty decent as far as the storage, but you can move all your pictures to the SD card if you do want to expand your storage on here. So pretty decent photos, right? Battery is where this thing will pretty much shine in most case scenarios. For most people who buy this phone, you're going to get a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, but it's going to feel like a 5,000 milliamp hour battery because it's optimized so well. And that's one of the things that Motorola does really well. So 8 months later, the battery doesn't have any degradation or deterioration. It's been really solid for me, and mostly everything that I've been doing with this guy has been pretty solid. Phone calls have been coming in clear. The the overall experience is pretty decent. The software updates are coming in as well, pretty good too. So I'm getting about 8 hours of screen on time with the battery life inside of this thing. It's going to be pretty much pretty decent as far as the overall battery on here. But I got 5 gigabytes of RAM left over from this phone, and so that's a pretty decent amount of storage to be left over for using a phone for 8 months, right? But like I said, you're going to get adaptive battery, which will help you increase your performance on here for battery savers mode as well, overcharge protection, and like I said, it's going to be a solid device overall. I had no issues whatsoever using this thing. Everything that I pretty much did with it, I was pretty much happy with, and I was able to pretty much do what I wanted with it without belly aching or hiccuping or even complaining to myself. Social media, like Twitter, Messenger, Instagram, everything is going to be pretty much smooth on here. So very minimal lag when you're scrolling, because it's going to have a pretty decent optimization for multimedia, for web browsing, for pretty much any task that you throw at it. You're not going to be able to do any heavy gaming on here, but when it comes to the processing speed, it's going to be pretty decent for a budget device. So overall, just a solid device for $69.99 at Straight Talk Walmart, or you can get it unlocked for about $139 to $49. And I expect the prices to go down on this thing even more for the unlock model. But these are some of my experiences so far after using this device. I really like the overall build, feel in the hand. Price is really good. The features are really good. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Leave it that all on the table for you guys. But let me know what you guys think about this thing after about 8 months of use. What do you guys think about your Motorola G Pure? Are you still enjoying it? Do you feel like upgrading, or is this pretty much enough for you for the next year or two But let me know what you guys think about this thing in the comment section. Also, I encourage you to subscribe and get notified for more videos if you found this video in the least bit helpful. But if you did find it possible, make sure you hit the like button. Show your support and appreciation, okay? Because that really helps the channel grow, and it helps push this video out to other people who do have the smartphone as well, so they can learn a little bit about their device, or maybe a potential device that they want to get, okay? But I'm going to get right back with you. I'm going to answer all your questions in the comment section right now, and I'm also going to check you guys later. But in the meantime, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and depending on where you are, have a great night. Later, crew. Peace.